going on, everybody? Welcome to Shred Sessions. Today we have Clockwise on the show. We've got Chandler and Casey. So, boys, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. What's going on? What's new?
Really, not much of nothing at the moment. Mainly just getting some shows kind of rolling on and whatnot. I got some stuff coming up in late or early July, somewhat mid-July. Other than that, mainly just, kind of kicking it back, playing shows, getting together a little bit, trying to write. It's mainly me and Casey writing at the moment. But
okay.
Other than that, we're just trying to get it going as much as possible.
Sick. I really enjoyed seeing you guys at the 58 room at the Dissonation show. That was with The Guild, Abated Massive Flesh, you guys, and then Dissonation. That was a fun show.
Yeah, that was
it was great.
Nuts.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about Clockwise is just how consistent you guys are. You always just sound great. It doesn't matter what venue I've seen you at.
Yeah.
You sound consistently awesome, and every member of the band just you can tell gives it their all.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that means a lot to us.
Yeah.
That's
one thing I believe we strive for at this point is consistency at its finest, because that has a lot to do with music in general. Honestly, consistency helps no matter what.
It's key. I mean, that's really, in my opinion, what makes or breaks a band is just consistency.
Yeah.
You can have the sickest sound, on record or something, but if you're not consistent live or, any of that, it kind of shows.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, definitely. So, your first name is Chandler, right? But
yes,
you're also known as Baja Bill.
Indeed, yes.
Can you
sir.
explain that to us?
So really, I'm more known as Bill other than Baja Bill. But
okay.
Bill was a name that some guy that worked with my father at this place back in probably early 2000s, 2001, called everyone Bill for some ungodly reason. Well, then it just stuck with me somehow. Well, then, years, obviously, I've grown up since then, but years go by, and I just started loving Baja Blast, Taco Bell, Mountain Dew, that is my shit, no matter what. Somehow, it just ended up connecting, and Baja Bill rolls off the tongue pretty nicely, and then, my wife bought me this hockey jersey. That's just nothing but, just pimped out in nothing but Baja Blast, Mountain Dew type of style stuff, colors, everything.
Did she custom order that or something?
No, it came off of what is it, Hockey Ninja or Ninja Jersey, something like that. And I mean, it was like $130, but I'm very appreciative of her for buying that because that really kind of got the whole Baja Bill thing going, took it to the next level almost. But there's plenty of photos of me sitting behind our 4x12 orange cabs with just stacks of 6-packs of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. It is insane. When I graduated, my mother bought me a 3 12-packs of Baja Blast, if that says anything.
Here you go, son.
Dude, I love
you started
it.
For life.
I mean, literally, no shit. Yeah, and then I used her Costco card to go grab another 40-pack. So that was pretty wonderful. But yeah, Baja Bill or Bill is really what I go by at this point. And especially at shows when somebody says "What's your name?" Obviously, with music going back, I say Chandler. They're like Hans. I was like Bill, because call me Bill makes it easier. Four letters to the point.
But your birth name is Chandler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my middle name has no B in it, or it is a B. It's Bryce. So Bill is not even in my name.
Okay. Well, what's funny about that is when we were coordinating to get you guys on the show, you were sending me these voice memos. And I was like,
this
guy says his name is Chandler, but he sure sounds a lot like Bill.
Exactly.
Which guy in the band am I talking to?
Dude, literally, yeah. So no, it's
which?
me. Any social media, it's me that anybody would be speaking to most of the time. And the voice messages I do apologize on. I drive for a living with Sherman-Williams, so voice messages have been my savior in that sense of not sitting here texting while looking down 75.
Adjust your mic there, sir.
Oh my goodness, no.
Well, I'm stoked to have you guys, and I know, Bill, you drove 3.5 hours,
almost about 3 hours. Well, about 3 hours in all.
And we were talking about this when you guys first came in. Is Clockwise a Chattanooga band? Do you guys consider yourself that? Most of the members are from there.
Essentially, yeah. So when we started in 2018, we were more from the northern Georgia area, northwest Georgia, as we would say. But as time went on, obviously member changes. Casey's up in Murfreesboro. 2 of us are in Chattanooga, and then the other 2 are kind of on the outskirts of Chattanooga and Cleveland, Tennessee. So essentially, we're somewhat based in Chattanooga, but we just kind of roll with it because it makes it easier. And Casey always announces, we're Clockwise from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it's we might as well roll with it at this point. We're with it. It is what it is.
it's a lot easier than saying, "Oh, hey, we're Clockwise from Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, Cleveland."
yeah, exactly. We're from everywhere.
Yeah, we kind of made our staple in the Chattanooga scene too. Like when I first joined, that was a lot of the shows we played. Yeah. So it was a lot easier just going, "Hey, this is where we are." So
we're from Tennessee.
Yeah, it's better to have just, I guess, a general area.
Yeah.
Man, when I first saw you guys at Dark Matter, I was just like, "Whoa, these guys are on another level." You see a bunch of other local bands play. Like we've all played local shows, and I'm kind of getting a little older, so I've seen a lot of shows. But you can tell what a band is supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and when I saw you guys at Dark Matter, I want to say, was that the Autumn Lies Buried show?
Yes.
It was.
Did you guys play at Dark Matter before that, or?
Yes, we did. We played with Counterfeit. That was
okay.
They were up from the Nashville area. We played with them. That was a while ago. Too.
Yeah, that was, I think.
I guess that was the first show that I.
Yeah, Autumn Light. Yeah, that would be the first time. Although, granted, I saw you at Dark Roast or Dragon's Roast, they called it.
Yeah,
with our buddies in Ritual Killer. Yeah, which was insane. Good lord, it was such a sick show.
That was fun. Yeah, and I want to talk more about the Dragon's Roast, and if we're able to get into the drama or anything.
Oh, good lord!
Because I've seen some cryptic posts.
Good lord!
Man.
That's wild,
maybe we can sort it out.
Yeah, I don't see all the Facebook posts and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh god,
people enjoy talking about or listening to people talk about stuff. Like
it's an interesting situation to say the least.
Yeah,
okay,
it's wild.
So let's get into it now.
Okay,
what the heck? I want to get to the history of the band and how you guys came together, and
of course,
how we got Casey on board and stuff like that. But let's talk about the Dragon's Roast, which is I'll just share from my perspective. It's like a tiny little venue in downtown Chattanooga, pretty much on kind of the main arts district drag there. And is it Champy's Chicken is right over there too?
Kind of.
Okay.
So technically that place is in North Shore, which is across the Tennessee River from. But you might as well just round it off to downtown.
Yeah.
There's 3 bridges that connect it anyways.
That's the one restaurant that I always
Champy's,
know to hit in Chattanooga. But
Champy's rules.
I was really surprised by this venue because you have to you basically walk on the sidewalk and then you open up these doors and you're on stage.
Yep, that's it. Stage is right
the way
there.
It's set up. It was pretty interesting.
If you go through the back, it's just a huge ass staircase that you have to bring a bunch of heavy gear up.
Yeah, and that was
we've
crazy.
done that plenty of times.
So you've had to load in. Yeah, so behind on the other side of the venue where the patrons come in to see a show, it's several flights of stairs up to where this venue actually sits.
And then on one side's a coffee place called Stone Cup, and then you have 2 doors. On the left it's Stone Cup, and on the right it's the Dark Roast or Dragon's Roast.
Yeah. So give me the history of this place and talk about its role in the Chattanooga scene.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah,
basically.
So essentially there was a place in Ringgold, Georgia, which is a good 20 minutes south of Chattanooga, called Springs Deli. Well, COVID that was a home base.
That was the venue.
Yes, that was the venue. Yeah, that is one place I'll never not love. I will love that place.
I remember tours routing through there.
Literally,
any band from this area, Middle Tennessee or the surrounding.
Springs Deli, baby.
That was the spot.
But yeah. So essentially, once COVID hit, George, the owner, and Carol, things just kind of went south, as a lot of businesses did during COVID. So essentially, the Dark Roast kind of picked all that up in a sense, because it was just a random venue. They were kind of like a coffee shop for the the name Dark Roast.
Dragon's Roast.
So Dark Roast was the original name of it, and then Dragon's Roast got changed whenever this company bought him out. But Dark Roast essentially took over that very DIY type of venue. There's been some crazy shows that come through. We've played with Filth there a few times. We played with Falsifier there, which, those guys are brutal as ever. I also caught a show with I Am headlining there, which was absolutely bonkers because they just got off their tour with Die Artist Murder. And they had barriers because obviously I Am's they're that band that's gonna raise some hell, and people were gonna raise hell.
They put barriers in the Dragon's
Roast? In the front, right? Yeah, exactly. So, and funny enough, where you saw the stage that you played on was not the original stage. It was to the side of it. If you were to look, if you're looking
stage?
at it, it was not not a corner, but it spread out enough, but you could barely fit 5 people on there. But Yeah, essentially, like when IM came through, the guy was like, "Can we move these barriers?" I was like, "I don't work here, but sure, like whatever." And people were jumping off of like, you know, the PA speakers because they were stacked. They were not hanging from the ceilings properly. So kids were just going nuts.
I mean, this place, it can't be more than, I don't know, 2,000 square feet. Maybe.
It could be less,
It's
honestly.
small,
Man.
yeah.
It
could be like 1,800 square feet.
Yeah, it's insane. But
Three
yeah.
Just
hundred
imagine
cap
your
venue.
local coffee shop with the tables removed.
Yeah.
And then imagine, you know, crowd surfing and moshing.
Dude,
Oh, man.
insane. Oh my God.
insanity.
It's a tiny little like 250 to 300 cap venue.
It's probably less,
So,
honestly.
yeah, if-
it probably is.
If the bands have merch set up in there, then less people can come in because of how small it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's
imagine just something as chaotic as that in
Yeah.
a tiny little
It's
place, you know?
Yeah. But essentially, Dark Rose kind of took over Cloud Springs, like started taking in more bands as time went on, very DIY. The gentleman that owned it decided he didn't want to kind of deal with it anymore after a few years, so he sold it. Kind of went not really downhill, but for a minute there, we did a Save the Dark Rose benefit type of show, which raised money to help out, kind of pay that last month and figure out who was going to buy it out. Snapdragon Hemp, which is a company out of Chattanooga, bought out the venue, redid, like, so when you played it, I mean, it was all redone, gorgeous. They did a bunch of paintings and stuff on the wall, you know.
It looked cool.
It
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Cool
but
spot. Man.
yeah, but I mean, I guess I don't really know what happened with the whole cryptic, like, you know, all those posts and stuff on their Facebook page. But from what I understand, that came from a very not happy employee that got fired or something, but still had access to all their social media. So decided to go balls to the wall with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we don't really know the owner of Snapdragon Hemp.
Yeah.
We just knew the people that worked there. But
Yeah.
it kind of sucked. But yeah, apparently the guy just said he was done with it and wanted to shut it down and then fired everybody. And I was just like, well, there went that. All right, word. So yeah, that's essentially what went down. And then obviously with all the dramatic stuff on Facebook, which was pretty insane and funny as shit, honestly. Like, I was laughing at it.
So it's no longer a venue.
No, it's no longer. Like, all the stuff is still there, but obviously they're not letting people in. I think they're about to not demolish it, but, you know, take out all the stuff. But it's just insane to see all that hard work go into it and then gone just like that.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Because, like, that venue was so sick. It was
Shout out
so
to the sound guy that worked there. That guy was
Brad,
really like,
you had
committed.
Brad and Nate, those guys did
Couple
so good.
like he really cared about the sound. He was doing putting snare bombs on. Like, he knows what's up. Like,
oh, that was Chandler, actually a good friend of mine.
Another
for
Chandler.
years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were in a band together too, which was
We call
insane.
him CC.
CC was his initials, so it kind of worked out where CC and Bill. But yeah, that dude knows how to run sound. Like, he's working in an auditorium now in Chattanooga. Like,
Good,
this,
man.
I think it's like not Sirens and Sailors. I was thinking of that band earlier. Yeah, Sailors Memorial Auditorium. So, like, you know, he's running sound for like Hamilton coming through, and, you know, all these plays and theater and stuff. It's wild. But yeah, the dude knows how to mix a metal band. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Snare bombs
I
all
was
over.
impressed.
Snare bombs everywhere.
I mean, I thought it was a cool concept for a venue, and I walked in and I was like, I'd like to have a beer, and then they're like, no, man, we have like THC and
Cannabis, as they call it.
CBD cocktails. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure I can't have that before I get on stage and play guitar.
Literally, yeah. That was also kind of another downfall. I forgot to mention they had to change to 21 over.
Yep.
So
no underage shows.
That's what killed it. To me, that's a lot of what killed it off too.
Like, a big part of the dark roast before it was the Dragon's roast was all age shows. So, like, you could expose the younger generation to, you know, the scene and the music that was going on there. Yeah. And, you know, at some of our shows, we had a lot of younger people coming in that were like, you could tell it was either their first time being exposed to something like that, or, you know, they had kind of been listening to it, but they'd never been to a show. So it was a big thing, and it's a big thing to kind of bring younger people into it, because that's what keeps it going.
Right.
And then, you know, once it turned into the Dragon's roast, you know, it went for maybe a couple of shows, and then they announced that it was going to be a 21 and up thing. And after that, you could tell there was a subtle decline in how many people were coming, what was happening. And that kind of, I guess, was what could be the start of the visual downfall of the venue, I suppose, because a lot of people in the scene weren't happy about it.
Right.
For, you know, obvious reasons, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, with this style of music, you need a venue and really a venue owner that is cool with like extreme metal.
Yeah, very much so.
Very important.
This is not acoustic guitar concerts,
No.
We're not singing about saving trees and, fucking, helping honeybees and shit, We're talking about fucking shit up, violence, people, beating the shit out of each other. You got to be okay with that type of, broadband. So, I mean.
Exactly. And there is a limited scope of people that can actually facilitate that.
Yeah.
So when you lose a venue in a town like Chattanooga,
the big hit,
it's huge. So what's the current place where you guys can play there?
Really JJ's Bohemia. That's that's a good one. Like, it's small, but it gets packed out and it's fun. That place is really cool. They're also starting to do shows at the Chattanooga Skate Park right now, which is awesome to me. I've never seen
sick,
that.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah, there's also like a Volkswagen Clubhouse, a gentleman that he's a big Volkswagen guy, like early model, like Beatles and stuff, and he's letting like hardcore bands come in there right now and fuck shit up, and I'm just like, it's the coolest shit to see. Yep. So it's building back up, and they're doing all ages as well. And then Redbud venue, that's another smaller venue, kind of coming up a little bit. It's been around forever, but they're starting to let all ages and letting the way more extreme stuff come in, because they were very big on not doing any metal whatsoever.
Yep.
And then now they're like, all right, like we have a show there August 9th for actually a promoter's birthday. Amber, she's cool as shit.
She's awesome.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of like how that goes, to see these other venues that have never let all ages kind of come in. But really, that's about the list of them in all reality.
Yeah,
it's been I feel like it's a big hit to the scene, but I guess a possible silver lining of the whole situation is it'll give all these smaller venues a chance to kind of come out of the woodwork and show like, hey, we can support this, and we can actually be good at doing it too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a very good opportunity for other venues to come up for it.
Now, one of the things that I think a lot about is metal shows in Nashville versus surrounding areas, because there's so much music in Nashville, there's so many shows, and we're starting to, like, for a long time, big bands didn't come to, like, Meshuggah didn't come to Nashville, you know what I mean? But starting around 2018, I think, like, more huge bands like Periphery, Steve Vai, Meshuggah, like all of, like, kind of like the more A tier like metal bands were coming to town. Yeah,
kind of opened the door for even more to come in as well.
Exactly, and maybe it's a good thing, but man, I've played so many Nashville shows that are just so tiny. Like just a handful of people.
Yeah,
and
you kind of get that here.
It could be like, oh, the band I'm playing in sucks. That's one possibility, right?
It makes you look inside yourself. You're like, do we suck?
Yeah. The second possibility is just like oversaturation, right?
Yeah,
and
that's a very real
playing
thing.
A weekday or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But what have you guys observed, like playing in Nashville versus like Chattanooga versus maybe Huntsville or some of the other areas, like all the other markets?
There's definitely a different type of, I would say, what's the word?
Vibe?
Yeah, different type of vibe, and I guess interaction. Chattanooga, it's more, I guess, refined. Like, you can tell people have been doing it for a long time. It's kind of, you can just kind of get people going with it. Nashville, it's just very raw. It's always been that way ever since I started coming to shows in Nashville. Going to like the End or the basement or
what does that mean? Like raw? Like
it's just more aggressive, I guess. You play a show at the End, and if it's the right crowd, you'll see people jumping from the fucking rafters. Jumping onto people. You'll see people get knocked the fuck out.
Just gonna blame Orthodox for that. For
Dude,
fostering that.
I wanted to go to that show that they played so bad last night. God,
Oceano, 2019. People were getting knocked out. I got my tooth knocked out
at the End.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a crazy time, and
what was that record that they put out?
Ascendancy.
Dude, that record goes so hard.
Yeah, dude, that is still to this day my favorite record by
got
Oceano.
The alien guy on the front of it.
So sick.
You got Dead Planet, Dawn of Destruction. My favorite off of that's Dead Planet, and when they played that live, it was I remember just freaking the fuck out because I was like, this is my favorite song, like this is insane, and out of nowhere just a fist.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of come to and I'm outside and I'm like, what the
fuck's
going on?
You're like, so people can't tell this right now, but Casey's like 6'8".
Yeah.
So he's he's very tall. Yeah. So I'm surprised someone's like, yeah, punch the tall guy.
Oh man,
shit.
I
reach up for it.
I feel
guess
like
someone was just swinging and moshing.
Yeah, it
right?
was a whole bunch of hammer fisting, and I guess I was just too close. Like I try to stay out of moshes because of that exact reason. I don't feel like getting punched in the face. I just like enjoying things, and I guess I got too close because it was my favorite song, and shit just happened.
Yeah,
dude.
That's crazy. So like what about you, Chandler? Like what kind of observations do you have of Nashville shows versus like other shows?
Man, I will say Nashville has been almost more open and welcoming in a sense, in a weird sense. Like only with this band have I ever played Nashville in general, and it's such a change up in the best ways possible. Like especially with just how welcoming these people are. Like I love it, man. I don't know what it is. And kids just want to come out and mosh and have a good time. Whereas like Chattanooga, it has slowly declined, and I guess the Dragon's Roast has some to do with it. And just, as like the Cloud Springs Deli shut down, it's like, it's become more tight knit and not as open, I guess, in a sense. So like, I don't know. It's like Nashville's definitely the way that I'm going. At least I love playing up here, but I obviously, with being from Chattanooga, we love Chattanooga no matter what. But yeah, it's just definitely more opening and more welcoming to come up to Nashville. Like we definitely did not expect, Destination, like Taylor, to hit us up to play a show. I was like, that I did not expect this, but all right. So there's obviously something there. Like there's definitely that more welcoming and open arms type of vibe to me compared to Chattanooga, where Chattanooga has their tight knit communities, and that's cool. Obviously, like hardcore is very tight knit with them. Deathcore, really, there's not much deathcore coming out of Chattanooga except for like us and maybe one other band. But it's just the very welcoming Nashville is, and I've been enjoying it so much. Like it's awesome. It really is.
Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about, how did this band get started?
Oh shit!
How long have you guys been around for? And then how did the current lineup come together?
Yeah, so 2018 is when we started. It was me, Damian Rue, which was the original vocalist, Jordan Monroe, which is the original bass player, and Seth Brackett, he was the original drummer.
Did you start this band or with these other guys?
With these other guys, essentially, yeah. Now, granted, Jordan came in a little bit later, came in like maybe about a month or two into the process. We were looking for a bass player, which, funny enough, our current bass player, Seth Johnston, he was actually at the start of it. 2 months in, he was like, hey, I can't do this. We're like, that's cool, do your thing, whatever. But essentially, we started it, wrote some riffs here and there. We went to a gentleman named Aaron Pace down in Alpharetta, Georgia, to do our first 6 songs. And it just kind of came all together. Played our first show at the Deli, funny enough, or Cloud Springs Deli, which was insane. Sold every piece of merch that we had. Kids were coming out having a good time. And then, our second show, actually, we played with his old band, Keep Me Alive. So started to gain a little bit more traction there. Started to release more songs and whatnot. And, then as time went on, things changed. It is what it is at the end of the day. So Seth left on his own terms, which is always good. We found Dylan, our current drummer at the moment.
He's great, man.
Yeah, dude, he's good Lord. I love that he whacks the shit out of his snare drum. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. And also he's very just good. And
he's got it dialed in, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. And he's a very simple drummer, which is never a bad thing in all reality. Like the dude justifies what he does on songs, and that's what we want in all reality. Like I think that's what everybody kind of wants. But then also, Damian Rue, he left at the time, or, it is what it is on that end. He left, and then we found Casey. Literally, I was randomly high as shit one night with our previous bass player, Jordan. He had posted up a cover of our original song, Hourglass. Like, it was still had vocals on it, but you could clearly hear his, like, crazy, vocals over it. So we were just high as shit, and I was like, I'm just going to hit him up and see what happens. And sure enough, not even, I'd say about a month later, he learned our whole set, came down, nailed it. And I was like, well, shit, you're in the band, dude. Like, no questions asked. And then about a year or two goes by, late last year, Jordan, we had unfortunately had a fallout, very big fallout, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And Seth Johnston, I was already kind of in talks with him because we were having some issues with our previous bass player. So, and I'd also known the dude for probably 15 years now. So we already kind of had that chemistry of being in a band together previously. So it was like, it kind of just came glued together, and it was like, yo, you want to be in a band again? He was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. So He committed,
Hell
and
yeah.
it's game on. And the dude also plays with his fingers, which is insane to me.
Dude,
Playing
he's
on
so good.
Dude, he's
insane,
it's nuts,
dude.
man. Like you saw the video he posted of just slapping around like a
he's
slap tape.
slapping
I'm
the
just
hell out of
like,
the bass.
dude, he's always been like that. He's nuts. Like,
He's super good. No, I noticed that too. I'm like, dude, like at that Cobra show, he was playing with his fingers. And I was like, what?
yeah,
Like,
on a 170 gauge and drop
That's
F, which is
insane.
insane. I'm just
Yeah.
like, how are your fingers not there anymore? And also having them left-handed, cool.
He's a
like,
bass player's bass player.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know,
Yeah.
he kind of reminds
yeah.
me a lot of Grant Robinson.
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah, which funny enough, we were
Exactly.
talking about Grant on the way up here too. Yeah, Grant's fucking
Grant's
sick.
a real bass player.
Which that episode was fantastic, by the way, as well.
I love Grant.
Thank you,
yeah.
man.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Grant's a really chill.
He's awesome,
guy,
man. I love him
Okay.
to death.
I don't think he's going to be playing with Psycho Frame anymore, but he told me he's working on another
Yes.
project.
Sweet.
So I think he'll probably announce that soon.
Yeah, hope you get
He's,
to see
he's
that.
thriving, and I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, hope you
Yeah.
get to see that 6-string BTB
Oh,
brought
man.
back
Oh,
out
it'll
again,
be
just
back,
like
dude.
shredding on it.
He's
God.
so into Fender basses now.
Yeah, I
man.
know, it's
Like,
so
I love
wild.
it.
I'm just
Yeah, I
like,
love
how do
it.
you
I
go
think
from a
it's sick, too.
6-string to a fucking 5-string like jazz bass? But I mean, screw it, dude. It works so nicely
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
He makes it work. So
And he played with a pick during Psycho Frame too, and I'm like, huh? Like, because
Yeah.
we know him as like, just
Yeah,
shredding.
yeah.
yeah, dude,
Oh my good lord,
doing
it's
some
wild.
crazy galloping shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool to have somebody else that kind of is that same way like Johnston is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
God, he's insane, man. We got lucky. We got lucky on that end.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely hang on to that guy.
You damn right.
Struck
We're gonna try
gold.
to as long as we
Yeah.
can, at least shit, until he says otherwise.
So, well, Casey, man, how did you get into doing extreme vocals? And one of the things I'll kind of preface this by saying, like, you do really beautiful, clean singing, but you do some of the most disgusting, like, vile, like, brutal vocals.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
What made you want to do this, man? Like,
Shit. So I was around the time I was exposed to, I guess, what could be considered extreme metal as a whole. I was around 9 or 10. My older brother, he showed me Whitechapel and Job for a Cowboy. I specifically Entombment of the
Classics.
Machine and Possession. And I remember watching those music videos and just stars in my eyes, thinking like, holy shit, like I want to do that. So I was a guitarist first. I still play guitar, but I did that, and then a couple years later, I started kind of dabbling in just making random sounds and stuff. And at one point, I kind of got it down, and I was like, hey, like this is fun. And I started listening to, I guess, just crazier stuff like Cattle Decapitation, Infinite Annihilator, and heard the sounds, and I was like, how the fuck do I sound like that? So this was like before you could find vocal tutorials on YouTube. There wasn't a saturation of them. You could find maybe one or two that were kind of reliable, but it's hard to teach vocals because it's a throat thing. You can't just be like, oh, I do this. You got to figure it out yourself. So I kind of finagled around for years figuring out sounds, and then once I got, I guess, a general understanding of it, I just started making random sounds, and if something sounded crazy, I would do it, and it would just kind of click. But yeah, it was one of those things where like I'd heard it and I was like, this is fucking insane. I want to do this. And I just started making random sounds, and it just kind of worked.
hell yeah, dude. I really enjoyed your guest spot on the Of Ruin
Oh man, yeah.
video where you're like
God.
covered in blood.
That was
like-
fun. That was really fun. So I'm really good friends with Cole. I've known him for a few years.
What is the name of that song again?
Infernal Flame.
Infernal Flame
Yes.
by Of Ruin.
Listen to that
OV
shit. It's awesome.
Ruin.
Disgusting in the best ways possible.
But yeah, I was actually on I guess the first iteration of that band when they were Confront the Elders. I was on a song they did called Blood Moon. And ever since then, he had talked about wanting to get me on another song, especially since they kind of rebranded to Of Ruin and became this whole new entity, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And he texted me one day and was like, hey, like, you want to be on this song? And I was like, that's not even a fucking question. Yeah. So we did that. And we were talking in a group chat about the video, and he was like, hey, it was their guitarist, Jerry. He was like, hey, you want to get covered in blood? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So he brought these white contacts for me to wear. And I could not see shit. Like, all I could see were the bright ass LED lights that Sam Schneider had set up because he did the video.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam. He
did a great
amazing.
job on that
Yeah,
video.
he did amazing. But all I could see were these bright ass LED lights, and I'm swinging a fucking real sledgehammer, full force on the ground, while Jerry is right there splattering blood on my face, and I can't see shit. I'm just following their instructions, hoping that I don't swing this shit and I hit somebody's hand or head or any of that.
Damn.
But the entire time I did that video, I was blind.
Foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, God.
The entire time I did that video, I was blind the entire time because I could not see anything.
Dude, you look insane in that.
Oh, man.
Fucking evil. Yeah, dude, it looks so sick. The white, like...
I didn't realize you couldn't see out of those.
Yeah, everything I did was by the instructions of everybody else. So
over here, Casey.
Yeah, literally, it was like, hey, walk 3 steps this way, stop right here, hand on shoulders the entire time, just okay, keep going, stop. And then with the sledgehammer, it was like, all right, swing right here, don't swing anywhere else. I'm gonna be right here splattering blood, you know. And then for the full band shots I did with them, that was probably the easiest thing because I could just I didn't have to be in one specific spot. I could just kind of go crazy like I normally do. So, but yeah,
Dude, I love that video.
Could not see shit.
You do this like high pitched scream.
Yeah.
And you hold it out for like forever. How are you doing that?
Yeah,
man.
that's actually a good question because I want to know this shit now. Shit.
So I call them bastardized whistle tones because they're not whistle tones done in, I guess, a general consensus of how people do them. Like with normal whistle tones, you go into your whistle register and then you combine it with your fries. I'm a mainly false chord vocalist, so I could never do that. And even now with me learning fries, it still kind of eludes me. So what I basically do is like I'll go at the top, like my highest high I can do, and then I'll just push all of my air through my nasal passage, and it just brings this crazy overtone. And I stumbled upon it completely by accident one day.
Does
the septum affect the tone?
No, surprisingly not. I've tested it. I've tested it actually. Like I've taken it out and like done it, and then put it back in and done it, and it doesn't get in the way of anything.
Dude, I love this.
But it's basically just a crazy polyphonic technique, I suppose. Completely stumbled upon by accident. I was just doing random shit in my microphone one day, and I listened back and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's cool as shit. And I started getting better at it, and it's just kind of went since then.
I love it, man. And you compare that to the Clockwise song Spiraling. Is it called Spiral? Spiral. And you guys have like beautiful choruses. Like you could easily be like a pop punk vocalist or just like a...
This is why we've almost transitioned into the heavy shit, like compared to where we were. We were a metalcore band. Like, I mean, to the point, metalcore, Bad Omens type of vibes. Dayseeker, really, that was a heavy influence. And then once we got him, I was like, oh shit, he could do all this crazy shit. Yeah, let's change it up a little bit. So it worked out in all.
I feel like I kind of had a
he had a hard hand into
this
transition.
I brought we were kind of before when we were in the middle of writing like the Gloom EP and everything. We were in a weird spot where it was like we didn't know what we wanted to sound like. We didn't really have a basis of anything to do, and Self-Hate, that song's my baby. I stayed up all night, literally from it getting dark to hearing birds chirp outside, writing the song, and then about an hour I wrote lyrics, tracked vocals, and I sent the entire thing. And they were like, where the fuck did this come from?
Fucking literally.
And like, I guess that kind of laid the groundwork for...
Just grabbed it out of the ether.
Yeah,
fucking
basically,
literally.
yeah, man. I was envisioning the grid.
I mean, he literally was. God.
It just came out of nowhere in the best way possible. It was one of those things where like, and I'm sure you know the feeling, you write a riff down and then it just keeps flowing out and it just keeps coming.
Yesterday, I wanted to go to that Orthodox show. I wanted to get a Bad Luck Burger and party with everybody. Damn. But I was writing riffs all day, and I was like, I'm not stopping now.
No, I know
that.
I'm like,
halfway through this song.
I'm stopping now, baby.
We just hung out at home and watched a movie.
I know that feeling all too well.
There's nothing wrong
after the riffs were done.
Yeah, dude. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
So you guys have made kind of a conscious decision as a band to move away from more melodic vocals and into just brutal stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's behind that? Like, why do you want to do that?
A lot probably has to do with the member changes, especially with how our previous vocalist, Damien, was very in that high register vocal, like especially with his, singing. I would say more like the Sleeping with Sirens type of style, like crazy high pitched stuff.
But isn't that Casey on the Spiral song?
Kind of, yeah. Like
yes,
actually, that song was tuned down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that song was tuned down compared to where it was. It wasn't like F sharp.
Holy cow!
So, or it was in the key, key of F sharp. So we had to drop
wrote that song, and then you sang it.
Yeah,
on the recording?
Exactly. Yeah,
Got
like we
it.
all wrote,
Okay.
like the original members mainly wrote Spiral, and then once the transition came in, I was like, yeah, we got to tune this down for you, Casey, because like it's definitely a hard song for him to pull off.
Like
live.
I can do it, but like doing it in studio and doing it live is a completely different story.
Right,
I have a high range with my singing, but I go by the whole like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, man, there's something really annoying when you see a great metal band and then they start singing and it's like way out of key.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
so.
And it's like, oh man,
of course.
this hurts a little. And it's
very
hard to
conscious of
hear, you know, you're playing in such low tunings.
Yep.
It's hard to find like where the correct pitch is. You got to have a great in-ear system.
Yeah, exactly. Which thank God for in-ears we do have. We run them, and thank God.
They are a lifesaver.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so you guys put the EP Gloom out. Was that late last year that came out?
Actually earlier this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was March or April. I think it was March. End of March.
You think I would remember, but
I don't
March,
know.
somewhere around there. Yeah, I believe March. Late March.
That EP has Self-Hate, and then there's another song kind of towards the beginning of the record called Visage that I really like. It has those Chandler pinch harmonics that we all love.
Oh, dude, yes.
Screaming Eagles.
Yeah, Screaming Eagles, baby. Yeah.
Eagles. Oh, they're just unique, man. Like I just don't hear pinch harmonics played that way, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of you created your own thing with those, but I want to talk to you guys about how that EP came together. Like like who writes the songs in the band, and how do you guys collaborate to come up with material? Yeah,
so essentially me and Casey are the two main songwriters out of the band. I've noticed that's kind of a more modern thing, especially in the past 20-30 years. Like it's usually one or two people kind of coming together, and then the rest of the band comes in, and it's like, okay, yeah, let me change this. But essentially me and Casey are the two main songwriters of the band. I let him have his freedom. Like Self-Hate, False Images, and Mirage are all him, whereas Visage, Hollow Mind, and Aftertaste are me. But obviously we have to collab. We're in a fucking band, we wouldn't not, so essentially we would write out as much as we could, then we come together, be like, all right, Casey, what do you think? Bill, what do you think? Okay, that's cool. Then as time went on, obviously we would bring in like Phil, our other guitar player. He did a solo on Visage, and that was all him. I was like, yeah, we need a solo in this section, so your job. I stopped wanting to do the solos anyway. I just want to write cool riffs. And then Seth Johnson wasn't a part of it at the time, but he still had some of his say because we were friends, and I've known him for 10 years. So he would always just hang out, and I'd be like, hey, check this out, or like, and he'd be like, oh, that's cool, but maybe switch around a little bit, And then Dylan, he was always like, these program drums suck. Let me get to it. And I was like, I got you. Like, do your thing. I'm not a drummer. I want to be a drummer at heart, but obviously, I can't because I've already spent enough money on my damn guitars and gear as is. So, so essentially that's how it usually comes together. Like Casey will ride at his house, I'll ride at mine, and then we'll just come together every once in a blue moon, or we'll take them up to our guy, Dalton Skinner, up in Knoxville, Tennessee at Anchor Sound Recording Studios. And that's how songs get collabed and put together and whatnot.
So are you guys tracking this stuff on like your own computers and then like bouncing those files out and giving it to a mixing engineer?
Indeed. Yep. Yeah, because now granted, everything on that EP except for vocals and guitar are fake. So fake bass, fake drums, but obviously with a budget, you can only do so much. So, but it still works and it sounds good. And which to me, that's all that we really care about. If it sounds great, cool beans. I don't care if it's like fake, programmed, or whatever. It is what it is. Like, and especially given our budget, we can't drop $2,000 for one song. So it's like, we got to do what we got to do,
Yeah.
We can do it live with all the members artificially. So, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, if it's real or fake on the actual album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's can you translate that material in a live setting, and Clockwise definitely does that.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We do our best too.
Yeah, we try our fucking best.
Heck yeah. So what kind of tunings do you guys play with? And you guys did bring some guitars. You brought some show and tell pieces for us to like look through, which we can get into that soon. But what tunings do you guys use in Clockwise, and how did you arrive at like those tunings?
I'll let you start that one because you're tuning low as shit.
Yeah, so you can, for anybody who listens to our band, you can usually tell if it's a song I wrote based off of if it's super fucking low tuning.
Indeed.
I really like writing in double drop C sharp and double drop D, and I'm not really sure.
How did you get there?
Yeah, that's what I was about to segue into. Is I'm not sure how exactly the transition happened. There was just one day I was fucking around with some pitch shifters, and I went down in the tune, and I was like, holy shit! Like, I've always been a fan of, like, bands like Awaken Providence, and I don't know, just Rings of Saturn, just really, really low tune stuff like that.
Meshuggah has a song on the Nothing album called Spasm, I think.
Yes.
And that one is in drop C sharp.
Yep.
Good Lord.
I remember hearing that one too, and it was like, just the first time I heard anything that low, it was like, what the fuck?
It's pretty wild,
you know what I mean? Like, I used to think like drop E was the lowest thing in the world. I mean, hell, when I was younger, I remember tuning my guitar to drop D for the first time, and I was like, man, I'm a fucking rebel. You know what I mean?
Like, nuclear bombs are going off in the distance.
Like, I remember just the first time I dropped that string, I fucking strummed, and I was like, whoa, brother. Like, it was like fucking Johnny Bravo is like, whoa, mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I remember playing like a D major chord, with the drop D, and like, whoa, dude,
like this, it just opens doors.
Oh, God,
you know what I mean? And then I ended up getting my first 7-string and went to drop A, and I was like, this is fucking cool, because like I was really, really big fan of the Desolation of Eden album by Chelsea Grin, and so I learned how to play that entire album front to back. And
heck yeah, dude.
Drop A was my shit, and then ended up tuning. I heard Awaken Providence for the first time. That was my first exposure to like really low tunes, like a Darkened Gospel, and they're in double drop D, or were at the time.
Wow.
And I remember tuning my guitar to it and just playing it, and it was like, I don't even know what to play in this tune, but it sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And then first writing with that tune was Self-Hate, and I don't know what it was about it. That was C sharp, but like I don't know what it was about it, but it was just the way everything sounded and the way the notes rang. It sounds just super sludgy when it's at that low tune, and I love that sound. And ever since then, that's just been, I guess, my comfort tune. I guess I start off any track in at the very least D or C, and then if I feel like it needs to be transposed up, I will. If I feel like it needs to stay that way, then it'll stay that way.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds great. What you're doing.
It's nasty.
Thank you.
Sick.
Thank you.
You guys want to show us your guitars
Well, of course.
that you write this music
So
on?
you grab yours first.
Here, I'll hand them to you.
Yeah, of course.
So,
All right, so this one is a guitar I just got recently in the last few months. It is a LTD MH1007 Evertune, 25-inch scale length. So it came with bare knuckle the mule pickups, and I liked them, but I am a active pickup butthurt, so I love active pickups.
those Fishmans.
Yes, they are the Fishman Fluence Moderns. I got them gold plated because I really like the black and gold, and then got some Amazon gold knobs to put on it. It's got the push pull voice activation for both.
Does that like
three-way.
split it to a single coil, or just gives,
Yes,
it gives
so
it a different sound?
If you pull up the volume knob, it puts it to the single coil activation, which if it's distortion, you don't really hear a difference in my opinion. But if you're using clean stuff, it gives it like a bell type of resonance, and I love that so much. This one, I think it's just voice 2. I'm not exactly sure the dynamics behind it, but I don't hear a difference, so I never use it. I'm mainly just, I keep it on the bridge pickup, normal voice activation, and that's what I do. Unless I'm doing like leads, I'll put middle pickup, and then
does that run off of a 9-volt, or do you recharge it?
It's a 9-volt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I gotta be careful if I leave the guitar plugged in or not.
yeah. I have some EMG guitars, and I always unplug.
Yeah, I love active pickups though, man. There's just I have a Jim Root Telecaster back in my house, and it's passive, and it sounds great. It has that Telecaster twang that it likes, and it's got the humbuckers. Yeah, but there's just I'll go from that to playing this, and there's just, I like how gainy everything is with active pickups. There's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just how it sounds makes more sense in my head versus how passive pickups sound. I know he's the exact opposite. But that's just what I like. I love active pickups, even if you have to buy batteries for it every few months or so.
Yeah, no, I like them too, man.
Yeah, this is if you want to hold it as well,
I'd
you're
love
more than
check
welcome
it out.
to. Yeah,
we'll show it on this camera. Now, Bill, did you set this up?
Yes, sir. I did indeed.
Plays great.
Oh, sweet.
Man, it's a fucking unit, man.
So is it standard?
It's drop F.
So it's got like a drop tune on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. How are you liking the Evertune, man?
Man, I love it. I have not tuned that guitar in well over 3 months, and it's still in tune.
I sold him on the Evertune.
Yeah, man.
God, they're worth it, man.
I had a Jackson JS227 7-string before this.
Plays great, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
thank you as well.
Yeah, of course.
No, I was like, because a lot of these metal guitars that they're great in the riff zone, but when you get up high, like the action's totally different.
Yes.
So that's something I always look for.
Of course.
And it's consistent all the way to the 24th fret.
Yeah, you definitely got a good one on that end.
$900.
Yeah, literally $900.
Yeah, you don't have to spend a ton of money on guitars to get something nice. And like I bought this like $3,000 Kiesel like a couple years ago.
So sick.
Kiesel's great though.
So sick.
And I don't think I'll do it again, man. Like
I understand that.
I love Kiesels, but I'm just gonna find one on Reverb.
That's where I got that off. Was Reverb.
Yeah, that's what I've done the last couple guitar purchases. Like you can find a used Kiesel for like $1,800, and originally it was like a $3,500 guitar.
Yeah, which is like, insane.
I really want the new Ernie Ball. I'm an 8-string player, so like the Ernie Ball, Petrucci, the all black.
Oh, dude, those are so sick, dude.
The multi-scale.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God.
But
they're jam on those.
$4,500, man.
Yeah.
By the time you pay taxes,
that's just all Music Man's, man.
I can get 3 guitars
for the price of
this one. So I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
of course. Like the next time around. So
I'm
with you on that.
My thought process on because I was gonna get one of the newer Jackson Dinky DK modern guitars with the Evertune, but I ended up thinking about it. And I was like, I can't justify spending $2,000 on a guitar that I'm not even going to play live. I'm just going to be using it for writing and fucking around and shit. I want something with an Evertune that will get what I need done, and I ended up finding that, and it was just like, all right, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets the job done.
I can understand like a new guitar needing a setup. There's something, I have a huge pet peeve like with guitars lately. I bought that Malmsteen Strat. Well, I didn't buy it. I got it as a gift. And I needed to like get the frets done on it, like there's all this overspray on the frets. Like, so they had to get filed down and set up, and that guitar is made to like, it's what I use for tracking a lot of leads.
It's made for the lead shreddy. Shit.
You can do huge bends on it.
Yeah, which is insane.
You have so much control. So cool. But like it was fretting out all the time, and I'm like, this is a brand new like $2,500 guitar.
Yeah.
So that's something that really pisses me off about expensive guitars is having to like immediately put work into them.
Yeah.
So
you expect it to be out of the box.
Yeah. Perfect. Like, this was set up in the factory, like every fret, every note, every you could bend a whole step on every string and it would be good. But unfortunately, like I feel like a lot of quality control went to crap. During the pandemic because everyone was buying guitars during that time and they couldn't keep them in stock.
Yeah, because they had nothing else to do. Yeah,
right.
I mean, that was the rise of all the bedroom musicians and shit. So I mean,
dude,
there was an influx.
The rise of the
man. All the
literally.
They were like, hey, let's fucking kill live music. You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's nothing else. Yeah,
I mean, you can't do much about COVID on that.
Yeah,
end,
exactly.
So you had no choice. Damn it.
I taught a ton of guitar lessons to people like all around the world. Like during that time, it was crazy.
It gave people time to pick up new hobbies.
Right. Yeah. Of course. It was cool, man. I enjoyed it, but yeah, guitar prices are crazy now, and like you're having to do work on a brand new instrument. I hate that, man. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
If I order,
but see, that's where I come in though.
Right?
Because I do that, but it's still that like, damn it should be right. Good right from the get go, no matter what. But especially with some of the price points. Good lord.
Most guitar players too, like they're gonna buy a guitar like this, the 7-string. It's gonna come set up in B.
Exactly.
So the first thing you're gonna do is rip the strings off, and put your string gauge on, and get it set
at
up.
A very minimum, put it in drop A.
Right.
Yeah. That's the first thing I'll do if I play a 7-string that I got. It's in B standard. I'm just like, okay,
drop.
Yeah.
Like I have an Evertune key on me 24/7. If we go into Guitar Center and there's like an Evertune 7-string like in
start
B,
setting it up,
I will literally just casually start dropping it down. I mean,
I've seen him do it.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, good.
Dude, Guitar Center is hilarious, man.
Oh my god, dude. Yes, it is indeed.
It cracks me up, man. Like my
I'm ready
favorite,
to talk shit about this place.
My favorite thing about Guitar Center is like $2,000 guitars hanging on the guitar holders way up high, but they don't have any padding.
So
the
it's just like scratching the shit out of the veneer.
So now like the guitar is already like it's already ruined,
damaged. And it takes them 3 years to be like, oh yeah, we'll put a scratch and dent like price tag on this.
Yeah,
like.
And they only take like fucking $50 off of it.
All you have to do is get nice guitar holders that have good padding, and
not like they don't have the money to.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Guitar Center is something. It's something.
And you could find some god tier finds.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah. Like I found one of.
Here, I'm gonna grab your guitars. Keep talking, man.
That's fine. Yeah, that's perfect. One of not any of these two guitars, but I found one similar on Guitar Center for like less than like $1,500. I was like, that is fucking insane for one. Let me do this actually. Here we go. Any whore. So
any whore?
Any whore. Yeah, dude, literally, yeah. No, I use that way too often. But this one, man.
I love it.
This one is the fucking OG for me. This is the third iteration of Alex Wade from Whitechapel's signature.
Oh, sick.
I bought it directly from Evertune. Oh my god. Bought it directly from Evertune.
Sorry about that mic, man.
Dude, it's all good. It ain't no big deal. How about I hold it like that? Yeah, so bought it directly from Evertune. They have this program of coming in and just buying stock guitars, bringing them in, putting Evertunes on them, reselling them. So
you bought the guitar from Evertune?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's cool. So like, they have this whole process with it. And
do they have to route the body out for that?
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. So like, you got the back route right here. Like originally, this came with like a hip shot, standard bridge. While they just took it in, routed the shit out of it, and put an Evertune in it.
Yeah.
And then this one's in drop F as well. Actually, all three of these guitars are in drop F. But this is the workhorse for sure.
That's the main one.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the one. That's your number one.
Well, not my new. Well, I say she took a little bit of a back, seat, while the newer one, obviously we'll show that off because that's my pride and fucking joy. But this one, always the most reliable guitar. Like, I don't know, man. Once I got this one, it just felt dialed in. And it's weird because a lot of people have like that weird stigma of like, I shouldn't be playing a signature guitar. And I'm like, fuck that. If it plays good, that's all that's all that matters.
Exactly. Sometimes
you can't deny that Mr. Alex Wade can spec out a fucking guitar. No matter what.
Sometimes a signature guitar has all the specs that you would already want. It's got the upgrades built into it.
Yeah, dude, literally.
There's a reason why it's
this
signature.
one, and I already had his second iteration of this guitar. Now, granted, it didn't have an Evertune. It was like a very nice red Paduke top. I mean, it was fucking gorgeous. But yeah, once I got this one, I was like, yep, game over. This is the one. And of course, super strat body style. Like, it's got all the bells and whistles of like the neck pickup. I could do split stuff, all that good stuff.
You move the volume knob down to the tone position?
I did, because I'll hit that motherfucker with my pinky so many times. It's insane. Like, when we played live, I would hit it and I would be wondering, why is my shit gating out so bad? It was because I was like, just gradually turning it down. But yeah, this one also changed the pickups. These are Seymour Duncan, Sentient, and Nazgul pickup in it as well.
Nice. That's a great set.
Dude, I love it, man.
How do you get the gold Evertune pieces? Is that actually a special thing?
It actually came stock with from Evertune as well. Essentially, you can actually just change out, like per se, you get a gold Evertune, all gold. You could literally change out the faceplate to any color you want. But they decided to do this from factory. I guess it may have been in correlation with Alex Wade. I'm not too sure. I actually haven't spoke with him about that, but I'm always kind of curious about it.
It looks nice, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
27-inch scale?
Yep, 27-inch scale. Yeah, baritone, everything in between. LTD lock and tuners, everything. I got the groove gear, fret wedge.
I got to get the wedge, bro.
It looks so much cleaner. Like, I don't judge fret wraps, but good lord, on some guitars, they're so big. I'm like, that just looks goofy, but I see the purpose of them no matter what.
Yeah,
I was like, fret wedge. Yeah, like, see, it looks somewhat goofy on his, but not like wildly.
Hey now.
Yeah,
I don't ever use it.
I keep them on all my guitars because like I'm constantly going in between like riffing and tapping and playing solos.
To me, that's where the benefit comes from for players like yourself. Whereas for me, I don't do the shred thing. I don't, I'm not trying to. I mean, I don't care to learn new techniques, but I wouldn't not mind it at the same time. So I'm always just down to I just need the one thing to do its job and go on my day. Yeah, this is the workhorse.
Great guitar, man.
Yeah, I put this thing through fucking hell and back.
I'll swap that out with your other one real quick.
This one is the pride and this one is my pride and joy now. Yeah, she's tied in there.
And this is a different body style.
Yep, different. Yeah, dude. It's heavy as shit too.
It is a little heavier. This is an ash body.
Swamp ash. Yep, swamp ash, one piece swamp ash, and then it's a little difficult to get it in there, but she'll fit. Oh yeah, she good. Oh yeah, she good. So essentially, this one same woods, same everything, but different body style and just one less pickup and like little switches. So this is the XJ AW7B, Alex Wade's 4th iteration signature model. This one I wanted to find a baritone 7-string Jazzmaster Jaguar body style, and this is the one. It just looks pissed, and that's what I want. I want it to look angry and mad, and like especially with only having the one pickup, obviously same type of setup with the Evertune. It sounds pissed off too. It's got a little bit more low end than I would want, especially changing it out to the Nazgul as well. But yeah, no tricks, no gimmicks, just literally one pickup, one volume knob, output,
go.
Done.
Yeah.
And also move the volume pot again as well.
Beautiful. You got the custom Clockwise black and gold.
Damn right, baby.
There.
Black and gold is the way to go.
So at this point, I feel like that's going to be one of our things. I have
probably so.
Black and gold. He has the black and gold.
Yeah, yours looks great with the pickups and the knobs.
I love it.
Thank you.
See, I'm contemplating on doing that with mine, just to change it out to a gold pickup, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And shit.
Later today, we'll plug into the Rev Gen 120 with these bad boys, and we'll let them howl.
Let them sing
through a 4x12.
Let these babies sing. Yeah, because this one loves to, that's for sure. But yeah, this is the pride and joy. And I be like, you've seen me live. I'm spinning the fucking shit out of these guitars.
Yeah, you move a lot on stage, man. It's impressive.
I appreciate it. And especially with, like, to me, with something like this, I impress myself a little bit because I'm just like, how do I move this fucking thing like a rag doll? Just like
it's a big old guitar.
Yeah, dude, it is, man. It takes, I mean, it's chunky, but
I've nearly taken a headstock to the face quite a few times.
That is right. That is true. Johnston's took my headstock to his back arm a couple good times.
So I'm pretty sure you've hit me on the elbow before.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have to put it in that far left one right there. Yeah, it's a little awkward. There we go. That'll work. She'll fit. If it falls, it falls. I ain't worried about it.
If he does,
which also that
he
guitar
does.
was. I traded 2 guitars. Yeah, if it does, it is. That's another thing about my gear. I'm not like particular, like crazy about like, oh, it needs to be in the best condition. Fuck that. They're made to play.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and now granted, I sold 2 guitars just for the XJ, but I play the piss out of it, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's meant to be. Like
that's how I feel. I mean, I am a little protective about my Kiesel, but
now that makes sense.
That's understandable, yeah.
It's got flaws on it.
Of
like
course.
I've worn away like part of the top finish from where I don't want to put my fingers there, but they just go there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like that's how the Super Strat one is. Like the back of the neck gloss, it's supposed to be satin. While if you look on some of the pieces, like, you know, after the video, you'll see that some of these little spots have turned into gloss just because where my forearm is rubbing it, where my finger goes, it's so hard. But that's the characteristics that I love the most about gear,
man.
And
that's what makes a guitar personal, in my opinion, is the little dents and dings and scrapes and scratches you put in it over time of using it. You know, it makes it more, I guess, you. Because I mean, I always think of an instrument as like an extension of yourself. So you know, if it's being played well, you'll see it's being played well, and it gives it more character, in my opinion.
And to me, that's where he comes in with how dirty his guitars are sometimes. The thing is that dirtiness is what that is from just playing the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm constantly playing for hours.
And I can appreciate that to an extent. You know, like some of the guys that come in for me, I know they're just kind of lazy, and that's fine. Obviously, do your thing. But with Casey, I know I'm getting my money's worth. Well, actually, he's not even paying me to set it up. But, you know, it's like I know that I'm working on a guitar that's going to be played to piss, and that's what we need. That's what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I play that guitar multiple hours every single day. There's not a day that goes by I don't play.
No.
That's awesome,
you know,
dude.
that's been my passion for 18 years.
I love to hear that, man.
Yeah. And sorry, we'll talk about gear for fucking ever.
Oh, no.
We just do. I'm a fucking nerd. I love it.
Well, let's talk about what you guys are using live. I think you mentioned Quad Cortex.
Yep. Quad Cortex and all. Essentially that runs me and Phil, our other guitar player. We run
through one Quad Cortex.
Yep. Yeah. So if we ever have something go down, we're fucked, but it'll be all right. Like so far, we would obviously like to have redundancy and have another one, but that's a whole, that's a whole another $3,000 on top of the, $1,600 we got for it. Which actually shout out to Matt D from Drop D Guitars in Chattanooga. He got me the XJ and our Quad Cortex and gave us deals on them.
Oh,
So,
awesome, man.
That dude's helped us out a lot.
I love the local shops, man.
Dude, this guy carries like $30,000 ESPs, like exhibition series.
Holy cow, dude.
So he's got the big boy stuff, the Aristides, the Dunables, some of the USA Dunables he has is insane.
Dude, I'm gonna have to visit this shop. This
Definitely,
sounds
make an
right
appointment
up.
with him, dude. Shit, you're more than welcome. Like he's the coolest guy, and he's a gear nerd like me. He's a big ESP fan like myself, so we nerd out as much as possible.
We'll have to plan a trip where I come down there and we both just go.
Please, I'm down. Like
I'll come with you guys. Shit,
Yeah,
I want to go
that would be
too.
awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, please.
We'll have a boys' day out.
Boys' day out, baby. But yeah, no. But the gear. So it's like, would you want me to run down through a whole rack and shit? Because I mean, I can. So since our rack case, it carries quad Cortex, which is for me and Phil. We have a power amp to power 4x12 or 2x12s, depending on the show. We kind of figure out.
Are you using like Crown power amps?
Yep, Crown.
Okay.
Yep. I think it's the 1002 or the not 2002. The 1202. I think.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's just driving the speakers, and then your preamp is essentially just the quad Cortex.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Indeed. Yeah. Because what was so crazy about the quad is setting up that tone was the simplest I've ever experienced with a modeler. Like we had the Axe 3 at one time. I had the Axe 8, and Phil was running his Kemper at the time. And once we combined everything together, it just came together so much more smoothly. But yeah, the quad Cortex has been a game changer in the sense of how easy it was to set up our tones. Took me 6 minutes, found one of the 5150 presets in there because that is the only amp my hand knows and will love.
You got a 5150 tattoo.
Damn right, baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5150 is where it's at, man. Fucking rest in peace, Eddie. But yeah, so within that preset of just finding a 5150 in the quad Cortex, I was like, well, all right, good start. And then just made little tweaks here and there and done. I was like, well, fuck. All right, that was easy. So spent $1,600 for 5 minutes of tone tweaking. Have not touched it since. Just left it in a rack case for almost a year and some odd months now.
And you guys play along with a click track?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah, we have a LP16, which is somatic audio. I believe they're...
That's what Proselyte
Yeah,
has.
dude, they're so sick. Oh my God.
I've
had that thing
man.
since we started the band. That was like fucking Lee Jennings from the Funeral Portrait told us about that because at the time they were using it. And I was like, all right, yeah, just 16 outputs to the point. Like it's so wild. I don't have to go into their like whole system anymore. I could just put like, 01_ whatever, and it goes straight to that output, whatever track we put. And I'm like, this is the shit. I love it. It's so simple.
I love that thing too. I had to set it up for that Zaphon show that we played with you guys in November, and it was just so easy to load tracks onto it, the drag and drop.
So sick.
Like,
yeah.
And like when you get it working, it's like, I was like, it's working. It's working.
It's
the
nuts.
kid from the freaking,
that feeling,
I was so surprised.
That feeling of putting a whole rack case together and then realizing, holy shit, it's working. That is one of the greatest feelings.
Like I set aside an entire day to set that up because I was like, man, this is gonna be a total. I'm gonna be watching videos, looking through
troubleshooting.
Yeah.
But dude, I did it in like an hour, and I was like, well I guess we're ready to play the show.
Yeah,
dude,
it's nuts. Yeah. Plus, I love that we hit play and we go. There's no stopping in our set. Obviously, if something were going wrong, we could, but I like being able to press play. We go and we get our shit, go, and then get off.
There's almost never a time where you're gonna start and stop a song and then pick it up somewhere in the middle of the song.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
we're not gonna be like, hey, sorry, we fucked up. Here's
let's take it from the chorus, guys.
Yeah, we're not
never
doing
gonna
that.
do that.
No.
Like,
that's where guys like bands with laptops can do that, and that's cool, obviously. But more than likely, they're gonna restart the whole song.
I don't like the laptop interface thing.
I wouldn't mind to have it, but I don't trust it as much as that LP16. That thing has went through so much shit, and it somehow is still working. And I'm just like, I'm not moving until I have to.
Right?
Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
But
I know like Dissonation and God, what is the other band? Divisive. They use the DAW setup.
Which is
because
insane.
they're programming they're doing a lot of MIDI stuff with their lights and things like that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's so unpredictable.
You can do MIDI with the LP16 too,
and that's what we do for
several MIDI channels on there.
We took advantage of that, especially with the automation on the quad. Like that's the only reason we use it. It's just for quad stuff. But yeah, it's been so awesome not having a pedal board in front of me for the past. It's probably 4 or 5 years.
Just focus on spinning in circles, bro.
But, that's all I do, literally. Like, just try not to slam the shit out of somebody or, kick the shit out of Casey or something. Who knows? Shit. I mean, I do spit water on Dylan, so that's pretty funny. Like, he hates that shit so much, and I'm just like,
it's fun.
Looking like Triple H up there.
What are some frustrations that you guys have about being in a band at the level that you guys are currently at? Like, what are some of the things that maybe you wish could change? Maybe it's like maybe it's external factors, maybe it's just like internal factors, but like, what are some like frustrations that you guys have? Like
communication. So communication is one, but it's not one that's like enough to gripe about in all reality. But yeah, that's kind of a normal thing in all. Like,
is this within the band? Or
yes, within the band, and also kind of outside of the band as well. I feel like that's a general thing. But to me, what kind of calms me down, and like I overthink the shit out of things, but I do not mention it to anyone. It just stays in my brain.
Yeah.
And I'll freak out a little bit, but at the end of the day, I have to keep realizing we're getting older. People have lives. That's a fact. We're not fucking 15 or 16 anymore. We're not, able to go out to these shows constantly. Like, we have lives outside of this. So yeah, sometimes it gets frustrating, but at the end of the day, you have to realize, like, we all have, we have our own lives, and you can't just make somebody contact you immediately. Like, I can't tell Casey to contact me within 2 minutes, and like, if he replies back 2 hours, like, yeah, I may get aggravated, but there ain't nothing I can do about it, like, until he replies back. So, or I'll just call him like multiple times, and he'll be like, what? Or like some shit. But but really, to me, that's the biggest gripe, I guess. But even then, it's like not really much of a gripe. It is what it is. Because there are a lot of things in these bands that sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah, getting 5 dudes to all agree upon one thing. It's like I've heard, like, one of my buddies, I was talking about playing in bands, and he's the same age as me, doesn't play music anymore or anything, but he was like, man, I can't even get my friends to come to the bar.
Yeah,
like
that's one of my gripes. Yeah.
And I was like, you can't even get people to show up and have a beer with you, which is probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, no shit.
It's even harder to do the band thing.
Yeah.
So what about you, man? What's your take on that?
I'll kind of one of my biggest gripes is I guess in some ways lack of support among like local shit, like and I mean it's talked about, I guess, pretty frequently. Like, you see all these people, like sharing all these huge bands, and like obviously everybody pays attention to the huge bands and all that. But then you'll see the same people going, oh, like, I don't know why, like, smaller bands aren't getting more widely recognized and stuff like that. And then you'll see the same person openly ignore all the local bands around them and stuff. It's the lack of local support. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to ignore the fact that, like, there are people that locally support bands, and there are people that will loudly do it,
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you can't complain about local bands not getting enough recognition and then not support local bands. And you don't even have to show up to their shows. It's just as simple as maybe sharing their thing, or like talking about them, stuff like that. And I mean, it could go both ways, but that's one of my gripes about it. Is just in some ways lack of local support.
Yeah.
Do
you guys feel like right now in the metal scene, kind of we're in the area that we're in, do you think it's like just really oversaturated?
I feel like music in general is oversaturated, like especially in the metal community. Yes. There are a lot of bands trying to do the same shit, which is obviously cool.
Yeah. But
there is a lot of bands trying to do the same shit, and that's okay, because we have that freedom. These people have this freedom to do that. But I mean, to an extent, it's a problem, and then to not an extent, it's not a problem, because there is also a lack of bands, local bands not getting started too. So it's such a weird kind of two-way street to think about, almost. Yeah. Very odd.
Yeah, it's something that I think about a lot, like, have you guys heard the Nergal quote where he's like, don't start a band? Like, the singer of Behemoth, he was like, last thing we need is another metal band.
Yeah. Fair enough, though, yeah. I mean,
I was talking about that on the last podcast with Cody Bloom. He's a huge Behemoth fan.
I love Cody. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great, man. We went heavy on like on this kind of stuff.
Sweet.
But I think you guys like have a lot of good momentum going with what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
And I would love to hear some more music too, like you guys have, The Gloom record's great. I mean, there's only so much you can do in a year, though, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
We have 5 or 6 songs on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
Sick, man.
That are ready to be like demoed and stuff, and they make everything we have out right now look like kid shit.
Yep.
In my opinion,
except for my squeals.
Yeah,
except for my squeals.
Make another appearance.
There are more squeals coming.
But
Heck yeah.
vocally, it's gonna be. I feel more, I guess, refined. I'm kind of getting more of a sense of, because like I have this weird block where like if I write something, I have issues writing vocals over it.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I think it's because I'm still in the, I guess, guitar headspace of it. Where like, but like if I write something, I have actually more of a difficult time writing vocals over it than if Bill was to give me a song and be like, hey, write something over this. I may be able to get something, demoed out in maybe an hour, 2 hours. If it's something I have, I'll spend weeks just like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Yeah, it's like you're just still in that it's like you're almost stuck in the writing process.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
I'm in a
like,
different headspace.
Get the fuck out of guitar. Like, let me do my job, damn it.
I think,
like, let me do what's cool.
Yeah. I think that's, in my opinion, one of the difficulties of like being capable of writing multiple instruments is
very much.
If you're writing with a certain instrument for an extended period of time and then you switch to something else, it's hard to get out of that headspace of it. Mm-hmm. And you have to forcibly insert yourself in a headspace of, I'm writing this different instrument now. Mm-hmm. And I have to think like I'm writing with this instrument. And the same goes for vocals, in my opinion, too, except for they're just a lot more freeform than a specific instrument would be.
Mm-hmm. What do you like to write lyrics about, man? Like when you're writing...
you don't see in front of you, like Mirage. I love that shit.
I go a lot of, there's a big variety, but specifically in Gloom, it was more so just, I guess, interior things, like stuff I have going through my head. Self-hate, I struggle with depression and, a lot of bad mental things. So like the self-hate was kind of the amalgamation of all that. Mirage is basically paranoia. I used to be a very paranoid person, and I still have little bouts of paranoia here and there. Aftertaste. It's just we all have people we fucking hate, and
like in our in-ears when it says like what is it you say? Shit. I should know it by now because it's like
that song close out with just a fuck you.
Yeah, like an call out type of shit.
Yes. Yeah. Visage. I'm not a religious person. I have my own views on that.
Yeah.
And Visage is kind of my I guess take on it, like how I grew up with it, how it was kind of forced upon and stuff like that. So I mean, all of Gloom is my personal experiences or what I go through in my head on a daily basis. And then, some other songs, like new songs that I'm writing, there's specific topics or like stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Or, just stuff like that.
Cool, man. No, I really enjoyed your lyrics, man. And
that means a lot. Thank you.
You put a lot of emotion, man, into those, and a lot of just like you're hitting on a lot of things that I think a lot of people go through. Mm-hmm. And so hearing these powerful metal songs on those topics, like it gives people a lot of hope, I think. That means a lot. Thank you. Like seriously, man. And then seeing you perform that stuff too, like I just wish more people would hear what you guys are doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's part of why I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
And I want more viewers, obviously, but we're getting there, man.
Of course,
you got to start somewhere, man. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
like you're giving a good platform to these bands. Yeah. Like that is a blessing, no matter what anybody can say about it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
like whether anybody wants to talk shit about, you guys are doing a podcast, like fuck off, man. It's given everybody a good platform.
Yeah.
Like,
people are gonna talk shit about anything involving metal nowadays. There's a fucking influx of hate.
Or
it's
just
annoying.
in general talking shit. Like it is what it fucking is, man. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I like struggle with when it comes to like the podcast is like, okay, I'm putting out like these hour-and-a-half long discussions. Like, is that too much for people? You know what I mean?
I mean, you look at specifically
some,
like
and some no.
Yeah,
it's just
I'm trying to make clips, but every single one of those clips, they take like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
sometimes longer, like 45. I used to use AI, but it just does such a shitty job. Fuck AI. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it honestly wasted.
We can get into topics on AI.
Hundreds of dollars, and it kept making these clips that just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like,
And
fuck all that.
a few of them I use, and I like what it is good for is the generating like the subtitles.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
I just got so frustrated with it, man, and it like it would like come up with like a nice clip of like a certain portion of the conversation. But anytime I have two people on the show, it basically like it would frame like in between you guys, right? It only frames like the center of the screen, right? Because it's making like a vertical style reel.
Yeah.
And I would have to like edit it, and like basically this particular AI company that I was using, just the editor was just awful to use, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a lot better off just making these myself.
Exactly.
Then I can draw
time.
photos in.
Yeah.
And I always put like the band's music behind, like so people can kind of like, you know, while you're talking, they can hear like some pinch harmonics or something.
Exactly.
Right? So
some sick
please play as many as you can, please. But like, I want to annoy the shit out of people with them things.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was a big Zach Wild guy, so just
dude, yeah. What he's a Viking guitar player.
You damn right. He's a fucking
is.
Viking. It's nuts.
He chops wood while he's simultaneously playing guitar.
Like just doing so many pinch harmonics over like Aussie riffs and shit.
Impressive,
God, I love
man.
it. And Pantera. Oh yeah, that's right. He's jamming with Pantera now.
Yep.
That's right. Damn. Nuts.
Yeah, they played the Titan Stadium.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they did a couple nights. It was like Metallica, Pantera, and Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah, and then Suicidal Tendencies as well, which was and Limp Bizkit for that, man. Which is fucking cool.
It's an interesting lineup for sure.
Hell yeah.
You got a kind of variety of everything,
which is always good to have.
Yeah.
That's another. Actually, there's one thing. To me, so many people give so much shit to like these like mixed genre shows. I don't know why. I'm very somewhat passionate in that sense.
Let it rip, dude.
Dude, like, I don't understand where some people just hate on like mixed genre shows. I don't like.
Dude, Cody and I talked about this for like 30 minutes.
Good, thank God. Okay, so you guys probably talked enough.
I want to hear your perspective, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like, I just don't understand where this hate comes from for like these mixed genre shows. Like, you know, now granted, like as we spoke with like Pantera, Metallica, and Limp Bizkit, yeah, those are all somewhat cordial because it's all like heavy metal, new metal, you know, thrash metal, what we've known. But like, I would be down to play with a pop punk band any day of the fucking week. And then like, if it's like an indie band too, or like, that's cool. Like, who gives a shit? Like, dude, I think we've played with like a hip hop artist too. Now granted, they may not have been, you know, very large or anything, but I feel like we have at some point. And those shows pop off because kids love to have a variety of shit. They always do. People always will. So it's like, give them what they want and let's just run it. Like, why not? You know, like shit. Like, kids will love our like crazy heavy shit, and then they'll go like actually sit down and someone enjoy like an indie band. And then like, you got like the pop punk crowd that's, you know, somewhat, I'm not really very too familiar with pop punk anymore because I don't know if there really is a band around here that does that stuff. But, you know, there's definitely, you know, times where I feel like that is just the way to go with some, and not putting metal on metal on metal on metal. Like, that's cool, obviously, because it's cordial, but sometimes a mixed genre shows where it's at, man. They're just so much fun. Like, and you meet new people. And that's what we all kind of want to do is like, you know, bring our crowd, like bring our stuff to newer crowds, and just if they like it, cool. If they don't, cool. But that's all the risk that we're kind of doing playing these shows too. It's like there are people there that are gonna fucking hate us, but there's gonna be people that love us too.
Yeah,
like it's the same concept. So more mixed genre shows should happen, and hardcore as well for that matter. Hardcore is another one,
dude. I agree. I think like to offer like some type of rebuttal to what you're saying. I think people they take their music like really seriously.
Yeah,
especially the hardcore community.
They're like a cult, dude.
It's like they hate religion, but that's their religion is
exactly.
Yeah. Which I get it. You know, I completely get it.
Yeah, it's this whole lifestyle, especially if you're straight edge.
Oh man.
But it's about like if you have a deathcore band or something, I feel like they don't consider it to be like a true thing or something. It's not real hardcore, even though there's hardcore elements in deathcore.
It's so odd. Yeah, like to me, shit, I would love to play with more hardcore bands because those kids go fucking nuts.
Yeah, of course.
And I feel like, but there's also that weird kind of like in between of like they just it's like an unspoken type of deal where they just don't want to really talk to us. But like since I set up guitars and stuff, I've worked with a lot of the hardcore bands around Chattanooga that are popping off right now. So, like, I don't understand why these guys don't want to take on the risk of like, let's bring, fucking Clockwise on this stuff with like a band called like Corrupted Influence. They're heavy as shit and they're really nice. But yeah, like, I just feel like that may need to happen a little bit more, but there's also another side of it to where you see those communities clash so much over the stupidest shit or the most petty shit sometimes. Like, obviously I can understand where like a straight edge, person would come to a show and like, having somebody, being surrounded by people that are drinking constantly. Yeah, they'd probably get a little uncomfortable. So I can see that part, but
how about grow up a little bit?
A little bit. There are a lot of people that drama shit.
There's a lot of different types of people out there. The thing that I hate about hardcore, dude, cancel me right now if you want to, is there's this moral standard that they have, like that they enforce on like everyone else. Basically, you got to think like us. You got to check all of these boxes.
Yeah, it's like
you got to support this. You got to support this. If you don't support this, you're not.
Yeah, in with it. Like then fuck you if you don't.
I can see where you hate that. I will go to war with anybody that wants to try to push there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Christian man. Like that's just who I am. I walked away from Christ for several years and I came back and my life has been a lot better since that time. But I do not push my beliefs on anyone, man.
No, hell no, you don't.
If you want to have a discussion with me about these things,
cool.
Like let's do it. But like, I just think people get really uncomfortable, man, when they see somebody that has a different viewpoint than them and they have to interact with them and immediately I've seen it at
they
shows,
like put a wall up just like nope
you can immediately see a difference.
I thought hardcore was about being open-minded and about accepting people into this club that you have,
it's gatekeeping, man.
But it's to me I can't stand that, man.
Like, understandable. There is it's just a very tight-knit community, which I get. That's cool, but at the same time, like,
I think going to those shows would probably, like, if you wanted to start playing with bands like that, I think going to the shows would probably be like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, of course,
as kind of like a peace offering. But
but even then, some of them there could be some type of drama somewhere with some person, and it could just turn into a whole fucking ordeal. There's always that one thing, one person,
and things like that.
But
I agree, man. I think we'd be better off if we had more mixed genre shows. But
dude,
I just think people, when it comes to music, they take it so seriously, man. Which I think is like I do. Like I'm really passionate about technical guitar playing. And people actually playing their stuff live. Not relying on, a bunch of technology, actually like freaking playing the riffs and
being
executing
authentic.
higher level stuff on stage. Like that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I can't enjoy a simple like sludgy doom metal band or something.
Yeah, or like
just
just stupid simple riffs like we have.
I'm not like in injecting that onto the other bands that I see at shows.
Exactly, yeah.
Like I enjoy the diversity of it. But I feel like my perspective of the hardcore community, at least in my interactions, is like if you're not doing the things that they're doing, you're not cool, or you're not.
Somewhat.
Oh, you're into like this kind of guitar stuff, like that's fucking gay, dude.
Exactly, or whatever. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You find a lot of that between the different genres and stuff. Like before that, the whole true cult black metal was like the whole big thing of that.
Or death metal guys can be very militant about
especially deathcore.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you're a deathcore band playing with a death metal band.
Oh god,
that is
that's another one.
That's absolutely terrible.
What have you guys had an interaction like that was bad?
I personally haven't.
I don't think I have, but I've noticed like there was a I guess festival we had played in Knoxville, and a bunch of the bands were like very death metal-esque, and don't get me wrong, the crowd went fucking off.
Oh yeah.
On that show, but like you could see a couple of people who were wearing their their battle vests and stuff like that were like going hard for the other bands, kind of just looking at us like
what the
really?
fuck are you?
Like are you really doing that?
Yeah.
Kind of like as if like we're less than because we chose to play a genre that is in the same genre. It's just a different branch off.
Yeah.
You know.
There's so many subgenres anyways, as is. God, I can't tell what is what anyways.
What's interesting about, like, just to kind of explain what deathcore is, I know we don't need to explain what it is, but it's elements of death metal music, right? So you have maybe some fast parts, some technical riffs in there, maybe even some solos, right?
Yeah.
And then you write music that makes the crowd go nuts. Which is what hardcore. That's every hardcore riff ever. It's just designed to make people move and
groove, bounce. You know.
So it's kind of combining and then deathcore is just dark. You know what I mean? It's got the darkness.
Hence the name, deathcore. You know what I mean? It's just an amalgamation. It's got death metal influences. It's got hardcore influences. It's got beatdown influences.
Yeah.
It's all up to the interpretation of whatever band chooses to write in that genre.
Yeah.
But you'll see different things coming from different genres that kind of make what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And deathcore has come back in a big way, I think.
Yes.
Probably because of bands like Lorna Shore.
Yep.
Damn right.
And then Slaughter to Prevail.
Oh yeah,
that band's just massive, man.
And man, they get so much. Both of those bands, I see them get so much hate, but the thing about it is and the thing that people have to realize is that you may hate them, you may, not be a fan of them, but they opened up so many doors for the metal scene as a whole.
Totally.
Damn right.
Try to do anything that any member of that band does.
Yeah,
if you think you're a hot
Don't look at me. I can't
guitar
do
player or drummer or vocalist, good luck, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
dude.
Try to do anything that those guys do.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just, but those are the.
Try covering the drums.
Yeah,
on one of those songs. Try covering the guitar.
Yeah.
Try doing a vocal cover.
Yeah,
I don't care. It'll really show you where you're at.
It'll humble you
with your level of musicianship.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
saying.
Oh, of course.
At the same time, getting on the subject of those bands, I've noticed it's become a.
I was a hater of Lorna Shore.
I've always
hearing about this fucking band, then how I listen to metal is I go on runs, right? So then I went on a run and I listened to The Pain Remains, and I was like, this music's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is absolutely incredible music.
It's so gorgeous, and then it's just so pissed off. There's no in between.
Yep.
It's such a weird, just the build up and the tension is insane on their shit.
Keep going, Casey.
Yeah. So I've loved Lorna Shore since their Malficium album with Tom Barber. Back in the day, when I was in middle school, Malficium was my shit. Godmaker was fucking crazy to me. And, they were so highly regarded around those times, even up to I can't remember the name of it, but I think it was Flesh Coffin right before Tom Barber left, and then CJ came in and all that stuff with Immortal and all that. I've loved every single album they've put out, and you would see the same people that were absolutely obsessed with them absolutely shit talking them now just because they made a name for themselves and they're big. It's people expect you to stay in this same level of mediocrity, but as soon as you branch out and you get bigger and you're one of the most talked about bands, people just start fucking hating. They come out of the woodwork, and it's
dude, the same thing happened to Metallica.
Yeah,
bro.
damn it.
We
We just thinking fucking same brainwave.
It's the same thing that happened to Metallica, you know, when they kind of changed up their sound in the early 90s.
When they went to Load.
They're like, we want to write
whatever the fuck they
kick-ass
want.
Power ballads.
Yep.
And they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've noticed if you stay the same, people talk shit about you. If you do different shit, people talk shit about you.
They're going to talk shit no matter what.
Negativity is such a problem right now, in my opinion.
Damn right.
And especially the heavy music scene.
Because music, it's supposed to be a gift, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's a joy to celebrate each other's humanity.
Yeah.
You created Clockwise.
Yeah.
And we get to fucking experience it it's just awesome.
It is.
Why? I mean, I guess there's only so much time and there's only so much music to listen to.
Of course.
So you gravitate towards what you really love.
Yeah. What resonates within you,
I just don't think people should waste their breath on stuff that they hate. You know?
No, hell no. What's the point?
Yeah.
You're putting I heard this from Norman.
Champion the stuff that you love, man.
Yeah. I heard it from Norman from Hard Reset years ago, and it's kind of stuck in my head. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, why be negative whenever it uses way more energy than what it's worth. Being negative uses more energy than it does just going on with your day, and
it makes you feel worse.
Yeah,
when you're negative, and you're spewing unproductive stuff around. I can get being annoyed of a band that's super popular, and you're like, gosh, man, I'm tired of hearing this band. But
it's just as simple as saying that to
I really
yourself.
don't like them, or that's fine. But I just, man, nowadays I have respect. I have mad respect for anybody that's able to do this and make some money and
Yeah,
get out there and tour and do stuff and like
have fun doing what they love and make a living doing what they love.
That's what I want to do, man. Like
as we
I
were
want to
talking
do this,
about in the
literally
fucking
the same
car.
thing.
Yeah, like we were literally talking about that like, in the car with like Falling in Reverse right now specifically. Like I fucking hate Ronnie Radke, but the thing is, the man has built a fucking empire.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also like Mark from Veil of Maya is playing guitar with him.
Yeah.
DL from the Acacia Strain and Bad Wolves is playing bass with him.
Those are top tier musicians, man.
Exactly.
And Luke Holland playing drums for the love of God. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
How can we hate on that?
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking
people
point?
are like, I stopped listening to Veil of Maya for that, or I stopped listening to anything these guys were on because they joined, and it's like
that's so
you're really
lame,
that
dude.
pissed off because they're choosing to make money doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, shit, run it if you can. By God, do it.
A lot of these guys, they're still living in apartments, man. They're touring the world and they're playing big ass stages.
When they come back home,
they come back home to like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And they're not living like lavishly. So an opportunity to, hey, if I go on this tour, maybe I can put a down payment on a house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's their job.
That's of course. If I had an opportunity to do the same thing, I would freaking do it, man. To
Hell
play
yeah, hop on.
Falling in Reverse.
Yeah.
Like shit, I had the opportunity to like work with the funeral portrait, but I decided not to. But now I'm looking at it. Shit, maybe I should have. But
I don't know,
it is
man.
what. They're
think,
good though.
Yeah, you got to stay true with the stuff that you really love.
Exactly. That was the reason.
Like
why.
I'm not going to go out and play country music.
Yeah.
As much as I love listening to it, but
hell yeah,
it's just not the type of music I do. So.
No, me neither.
I really want that Devil's Triad pedal.
Dude, he just got it too, and
it's kind of expensive, bro. It's like $300 or something.
Yeah, it's sick as fuck though. God, it's so sick.
Yeah,
but
it's got like it's like overdrive, distortion, and then like a
delay and reverb.
Delay and reverb combined.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like
it's cool as shit.
You plug that into any clean amp, I think, and just have your.
You'll be good to go.
Yeah,
exactly. Or do the 4-cable method thing too, which would be sick.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what he's experimenting. I'm about to help him out with that, so I think he's gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
with that thing.
4-cable is the way to go if you're using a tube amp.
No, hell yeah, baby. Oh, I miss my 5150 so much. Damn,
I figured you had one, man.
I
was gonna call you out for using a quad Cortex.
Yeah, literally,
now.
but luckily,
but dude, you tattooed it on your arm, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So far, nobody has, but yeah, no, the 5150. I had the block letter, like the original 1990 model PV, and then I sold it to get the 5153, the 50 watt. And then I regret selling it every day of the fucking week, every day. But it is what it is, though. Hell, I still like I like the quad and I like the tube. So either way I can go.
Yeah. I mean, I love tube amps too, man. But like, I don't really want to bring that amp to dark matter.
Exactly. No.
Much as I love that place, but
yeah, like if you were playing like, not even the end. Like maybe if you were playing like the venue at East Side Bowl, like the bigger room. Maybe because there's more room and less shit that you got to worry about somebody slamming up against it or like bumping it like into the most random shit.
Yeah,
I think we're on the opposite of we don't give a shit about our calves. We sling and go. Like we got to get them and get them back. But if I were to have something like that, I'd be like, oh hell no. This ain't this is staying at home.
it's more of a house. It's more of a studio thing. But the workflow on that amp is awesome, man. Like we just have like there's like an H9 and like a analog delay and then like a precision drive, and sometimes I'll put like one of these other drives behind you.
Oh shit! I didn't see those.
When I'm recording, I want something really sludgy. I'll use like the Sender 5, and then that Season pedal is one of the most disgusting like distortions. I use that for like slam and doom metal stuff.
See, I am big on octave fuzz right now.
Oh yeah, I don't have an octave fuzz at the moment, but my favorite was the Toke Machine, man.
I forgot about
Abominable Electronics.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate.
That thing is sick.
Yeah, like we were. I was talking to my buddy Joe from Ritual Killer on the way up here. I was telling him that
Joe Thomas,
the man himself,
great guitar player.
I love him to death.
Joe Hokage.
Yeah. Joe Hokage. No, so he. I was talking to him about an octave fuzz pedal that Dunlop made. It was a wah pedal, an octave fuzz wah.
Sick.
The wah pedal had the circuit of an octave fuzz in it, and Dimebag Darrell, like I'm a big fucking Dimebag guy. I was big on like Dimebag and Eddie and all that stuff, kind of like how he was. He had a video of him in Japan in 2004 before he passed, and he has this just fucking random wah pedal, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Then he turns it on, and it's fucking disgusting in the best ways. I will find it, but like it was the most like evil kind of tone. It was on top of his already distorted, like boosted kind of like heavy tone. It just made it sound so evil in the best ways. I'd never known how to describe it to somebody, but it's like, it's just pure evilness. and it's like doing that sweep with the God, I would obsess over that fucking pedal. It's on reverb for $600 right now.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, I was like,
expensive for a pedal.
And they only made 5 or 6 of them, and that's
wow.
it. Yeah, so he had the first prototype, and then after that, they built just a handful, and that's it. I was like, man,
I had the camo wah pedal.
Hell yeah, I've had 2 of those things, man.
Oh man, the original one was so good, man.
So
it had
sick.
like a 20 dB boost, so just make your
which
solos
is fucking
scream.
insane, dude.
Yeah, that was a great.
Dude,
pedal.
I used
probably
to
the best wah pedal ever made.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
no, because
all
especially
the
with
controls and stuff.
Exactly, and you can kind of sweep through what frequency range you wanted to sweep through. It's so sick. Plus, I used to have a Dean from Hell when I was younger, so I was a fucking huge on Pantera and shit.
Yeah,
I was like, I wanted to be Dimebag as hard as possible. Bought the Dime amplifier that they came out with too. Blew first thing.
The guy was just unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I blew. Yeah, dude, he was. God,
There will never be another like him.
no, hell no, no.
Yeah.
Even with all the hate Pantera gets, like, fuck them. Like, I love. They wrote some of the coolest fucking groove.
Some of the most mosh-worthy songs ever, dude.
Yeah, like the breakdown and domination. Like, they had breakdowns and shit. Yeah, too. Like, and just some of the cool riffage. God. Plus, I bought Far Beyond Driven on vinyl the other day, so I was like, "Yep, I'm going back to that fucking era." Oh,
congrats,
so
man.
Of course, thank you.
Well, what can we expect next with Clockwise, man? What do you guys have coming up? Any like upcoming shows, recordings?
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna be up to?
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. So essentially mainly shows right now. We're gonna be pushing some. Let's see. We've got July 19th down in Duluth, Georgia. We come back up here September. Oh wait, actually it's not announced yet. So, but fuck it, I'll say it. We're doing a little run for our buddies in Joy Thief. Gonna try to start in Atlanta on a Friday, Saturday. Come up to South Carolina and end it off in Nashville at probably the end. Maybe we're gonna try to. No, Dark. Cool. I'm sorry. Acrania Workshop. Is that how you say that?
Arcane
Workshop.
Yeah,
I was like Arcane. Yeah. So we'll be ending it off there. That's September 5th, 6th, and 7th. But yeah, just mainly shows right now. Obviously, we are working on music in behind that, so just mainly going from there. Just trying to get it all together as best as possible. Also trying to find a van for that manor as well, so we can push out a little bit more, because I have personally noticed there's still somewhat of that old school way of doing things, but just going out to shows, like just playing the most random places and see what happens. Like, find bands that are around in those areas that are actually doing something and be like, hey, want to hook up for a show? Like, you trade off shows and shit. And so far it's worked out. Like, went to Macon, Georgia, out of all places, never played there once before. Kids just showed up.
I love that.
It was
town,
insane.
Man. That's a really historic.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Interesting city, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't stay too long, but we hung out with everybody there. And like, the fucking green room that they gave us was like as big as the Dragon's Roast.
It was fucking
They were just like,
insane.
yeah, y'all set your stuff back here. And they had like a whole nother bar back there too. I was like, what is this?
They
I
had
love
pool
it.
tables.
Yeah, JBA is the name of the place. JBA Lounge. Really cool.
In Macon, Georgia?
Macon, Georgia. Yeah, they were
Sick,
cool as
dude.
shit. Very nice. Yeah.
You can get a show there, then by all means do it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Trent Chase on that one. The GMO. They're such good. He's such a good dude. Very well.
Nice. So when you're doing like these tours, are you guys like setting these up yourselves? You're just reaching out to the venues? And...
Yeah. We reached out to Cody Bloom for that a Crane show. So he helped us book that. The gentleman in Joy Thief, Brandon the vocalist, he was the one that reached out for South Carolina, and then he'll also be. Me and him are kind of trying to figure out where to go to in Atlanta. So yeah, essentially it's just us reaching out, or sometimes these people just reach out to us and we're like, fuck it, let's give it a shot, see what happens.
Sick.
Yeah.
What do you guys do like outside of like the band?
Guitar setups. No. So essentially, like, that's a side hustle for me, but I'm a driver for Sherwin-Williams. So, but essentially my real passion is guitar and music.
Yeah.
So I set up guitars a lot of the times. That's what I'm doing at home. After 3 o'clock, I go home, work on guitars, and don't stop until, like 7, 8 o'clock, and go to bed, and then do it again the next day. Yep. Like, obviously I hang out with my wife. I have to, but because that'd be very rude of me not to, at least, but yeah, just I'm personally doing that. And then what are you doing actually? I should know, shouldn't I?
I'm a full-time Discord mod.
Are you
Word?
No, I'm actually not. I wire police cars.
Okay.
I do like upfitting and stuff like that. So you get like a new Tahoe or something, it'll come in completely stock. I'll throw on like the push bumpers, wire in the lights, mount the lights, do the light bars, put in consoles, wire them up, stuff like that.
Honda Civics.
Yeah, I work on cars in my spare time. I'm a big lowered car fan.
Slammed.
Is that how you learned how to like wire up cars and run, you know, like add all these mods and stuff?
Yes,
like,
through having my own shitty cars that I had to do stuff myself on. I kind of learned just over the years. I've been working on cars since I was like 17.
Wow.
So I feel like I'm pretty mechanically inclined when it comes to that. I've worked in a few shops, you know, doing tech work and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, I draw, I write music, I write stories and shit. Probably never see the light of day, but I like writing just in general, and you know, doing anything art related. I guess anything that's I can put like myself in an external source somehow.
Yeah, so. That's really cool, Casey. What's the last good movie you've seen?
Shit, like new movie or like just movie in general?
Either one.
Man, I'm a really big horror guy, especially like 80s slasher stuff. I watched through every single one of the Friday the 13th movies recently. One that sticks out to me was I watched the Black Phone.
Okay.
That's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, this kid gets abducted by a like really notorious like serial killer / like kidnapper. And it's basically like
Spoiler alert.
That's not a spoiler alert. That's part of the plot.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's a plot twist. No, it's part of the plot. And it's basically just him trying to. He's like locked in this room that doesn't have any windows aside from like a barred window, and Ethan Hawke's in it. And it's really good. If anybody hasn't seen it, I would suggest watching it. But that's probably the one that stands out to me the most right now. It's really fucking crazy.
Cool. The Black Phone. Well,
yeah.
We'll look that up. I'm always looking for like new movies to watch and stuff like that.
It's a really good movie.
Scrolling around on your streaming apps, it's just like, man, what, dude? What you got to commit, right?
Yeah, so you really have to.
I take a recommendation pretty strongly, like when someone tells me, "What about you, man? Movie, recent movie,
dude."
You don't watch movies. You go to bed at 9 p.m.
Exactly. So, yeah, like I was telling you, like,
man.
I'm an old fart, man. Like I don't know, man. I don't watch very many movies. I haven't. I mean, I watched Wicked recently because my wife is big on like theater and stuff, which was a good fucking
times
movie
too, bro.
Man, it's a damn good movie. But man, I don't really watch very many movies, honestly. Like I love Training Day. There's that. Like Denzel Washington. Fuck. I mean, that dude's just a fantastic actor, anyways. But yeah, not very many movie recommendations. I can't really help you on that, dude.
Okay.
But yeah.
Are you listening to shred sessions when you're delivering like paint for
dude, literally. Let's see. I listened to
that.
dude, of course. No, I listened to Grant. I listened to Grant's last weekend, and then I went or last week, and then 2 days prior, actually from today, I was listening to Divisives, actually. Yep.
I need you to complete all of them, dude.
Dude, I got you. Oh, I need to. No, I need to. Abated Massive Flesh is the next one. Yeah. Like I'm so weird about shit sometimes. Whenever like my wife Brooke got me hooked on a TV show, Stranger Things. All right, check this shit. When I watched it, right? I watched it backwards. I started at the newest one at the time, went to 2, went to 1.
Whoa.
It's so dumb. I don't get it, but I do shit like that sometimes.
He's over here like, wait, why are these children getting younger?
Yeah, like, what? Yeah, exactly. No. But
I think people that watch the show, they're gonna just look for the bands that they want to hear from, you know. But
of course, yeah. But I feel like it's such a good thing that you're giving this platform to people, because you can learn so much shit from the rest of these people on your podcast.
This is where the real talk is at, in my opinion. And I try to just be myself and just be honest when I'm here. And
it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, no shit. That's what
be authentic.
Want.
This is who I am. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully somebody out there does.
Dude, of course. Right. No, dude, I think there will. Shit.
Not everybody's gonna like you, but all that matters are the people that do actually like you.
Exactly. So that's a good fucking point.
That's a hard truth I've had to deal with. Is I used to worry about everybody liking me and presenting myself a certain way, and then I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I don't give a fuck anymore.
It's self-torture, man.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Nobody's perfect, and not everybody is gonna like you, and it's a tough pill to swallow at first. But once you embrace it, it's like it's the most freeing feeling. Exactly. Yeah. You can be yourself unapologetically, and people don't like it. Well,
fuck off.
Fuck yourself. If people like you, that's fucking cool. You know,
it is cool, man. Yeah. And like that's been the most fun thing about this podcast, man. Is just getting to know the people in bands, people that I've played shows with, people that I've seen around, like people that I just find interesting what they're doing.
Yeah.
You give a good atmosphere for that.
Very much so.
Thanks, bro.
Which thank you for finding us interesting, because I don't. I'm just here to party.
I'm just a lump on the log. So
yeah, dude, we're
thank you for wanting to talk to me more.
No, man, you guys are such a sick band. Like, if you have an opportunity to see this band, go out and see them. Seriously,
do it.
Come to the upcoming shows.
No.
You're gonna enjoy what these guys do. Very mosh worthy stuff. Awesome guitar playing.
Thank you.
You know, awesome breakdowns. Great drumming, like fingerstyle bass playing, like it's
Insane.
all, it's the real, this is a real deathcore band that's doing something unique. So guys, thanks for coming out, thanks for being here.
Thank you
for having us.
You guys the best.
All right,
and
thank you,
we'll get you on you know, maybe in 6 months or a year or something, you can come back and tell us where you're at.
Party
That'd be
again.
awesome.
I'm down with
Yeah,
it. Shit.
so that'd be awesome.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.